Okay, everybody, welcome. If you can hear me, please say yes, and we will get started. Hey, Christy. Hey, Debbie. Hey, Angelique. Thank you so much for joining me today. All the way from Australia. I appreciate that. Okay, good, good. You can hear me. All right. Awesome. Okay, guys, it's about 4 minutes after the hour, so I want to go ahead and get started out of respect for everybody's time. So, we're going to go ahead and get comfortable. A couple of admin notes. If you have too many browser windows open, I recommend you close what you don't need because it will increase the quality of the webinar as far as your bandwidth and the images and the sound. So if you don't need it, just close it. It'll make it a little bit easier. On your end, grab your pen or pencil, piece of paper, and your drink of choice. Awesome. Hi, Melissa from Perth. Oh my goodness. Angelique, you can't hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Melissa, is this better? I'm sorry, Melissa. Angelique. Okay. If by any chance you can hear me, and you can see, obviously you're seeing the slides. Hold on, let me type really quickly. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay. I know the chat is a little bit delayed, so it'll take me a few seconds to read the chat. Okay, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because it is jam-packed of information. I am going to try to answer as many questions as I can as we start the presentation, but then I am also going to be doing some Q&A towards the end. So it's up to you if you want to hang on to the end, or I will try to fit it in the slides. But I do want to get through with the slides because, like I said, there's a lot of information. Okay, I got you, Melissa. Gotcha. Okay, so how I found my $15,000 honeymooners with a solid money-making marketing plan now. Just because I have that there does not mean that we can apply it to any business. Any business that you are running will benefit from this plan. But I am talking about my experience with my travel agency, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so roll call. Is this you? Are you a travel agent, real estate agent, a boutique owner? Maybe you're a coach, a speaker, a blogger, small business owner. The principles are all the same. And you've been wondering, how can I turn my followers into leads? How do I create a marketing plan? What's my marketing message? What is a marketing mix? What am I doing wrong? And heck, you could be asking yourself, what does this all mean? And so I am going to break this down for you because you probably either recently opened a business, or you probably just rebranded, or you've been doing really well in your business, but you want to focus on a particular niche. And so this will allow you to follow the path that you are trying to take your business in. All right, so what's important to you right now? First of all, you don't have a clue how to begin. Most of the answers that I got back from the questionnaire on the webinar when you signed up was the fact that you didn't have a clue where to even begin to create a marketing plan. And then you're on the hamster wheel. You really don't know how to scale up. You don't know how to break this through this earning ceiling. And then how do you really want to live the life, really want to live? I know you started a business because you wanted to do some things. You probably wanted to own your time. You wanted to own the quality time you spend with your loved ones. You wanted to travel. But right now, you just feel like you're just trying to make this thing take off and it's just not going anywhere. So imagine if you were getting multiple new quality leads per day. Much of it fits your target customer profile. This is what happened to me. As you can see, these are screenshots of my inquiries. This is what I was getting. Once I implemented my marketing plan, these were the type of clients that were reaching out to me. On the right, I had clients that wanted to go on a honeymoon and their budget was $15,000. They're living out of Cincinnati. And this is just a honeymoon. It's not a destination wedding. On the left, I had a couple whose budget was $1,200 a day. And this is a small destination wedding, but this didn't even include that. So they were just doing an elopement. And this was back in 2015. Now, I will give you a little backstory. Actually, before I do that, so here are more inquiries. So on the right, I had a couple living out of San Francisco. They had a $10,000 budget. On the left, I had a couple living out of Newark with a $7,000 to $15,000 budget. Now, and I'm showing you this. Those of you that are not in travel, we struggle with clients or leads that are just not enough. They're not our ideal clients. They're not profitable. Yeah. Yes, Christy, you're supposed to be able to read the screen. What happened to me? No, you're not. I guess I don't know if you guys can you guys see these screens? Here's what happened to me. Can you guys see the circle? You see my pointer? It's probably very, very small, but you'll see I have circled the budget. That's what they had on their inquiry for me. Okay. So I'm not expecting you to read everything, but I'm sure you can see what that budget was. You guys can make that little screen a little bit bigger if you want. But basically, like I said, on the left, I got you, Angelique. Okay. These are screenshots and I wanted to cap. Okay, I gotcha. These are screenshots. So I couldn't put the entire lead on the slide, but I wanted to give you as much information as I could on them. So for example, this one here, this is a client that wants to go to Barbados. This is what the luxury star rating they want. They want an adults only property, and their budget is $7,000 to $15,000 with the airfare, and they're living out of Newark, New Jersey. Okay, on the right, I don't have where they wanted to go, but their budget down here was $10,000 for a honeymoon, and they were leaving out of San Francisco. Okay. And guys, this wasn't always this way. I struggled with the business at the beginning. When I first launched my business, I thought, okay, I'm doing all the right things. I'm a romance travel agency, so I am going to, launch at this bridal show. And so let me tell you a little bit about my story, and let me tell you who I am. Again, Brenda Young, or Brenda Llamas. I own a travel agency, and I specialize in romance travel to exotic tropical destinations. I'm well known in the travel industry, having spoken at, wow, I typed that twice, at the Travel Agents Forum, and I've spoken at different events in the trade. And I've been featured in National Magazine, Destination Weddings and Honeymoons, in a couple of trade blogs and in magazines. And the reason why I'm putting this up here is because I actually launched the business without knowing much about travel at all. It took me about a year to research the business, to launch it. And I launched at the most expensive bridal show in town, Louisville, Kentucky in the US, the Brown Hotel, the most upscale hotel in town. And I thought, great, I'm going to go and I am going to get all of these brides and I'm going to book all these honeymoons and all these destination weddings. Yeah, a great show. But when I came home, I did not get not one booking out of that show. And it was pretty deflating because I spent a lot of money and a lot of time and it didn't work. And I wasn't, my husband at the time, now my ex-husband, was there with me. He was looking at me like, okay, what happened? Where did all this money and all this effort go to? And so I had to regroup. It was a pretty sobering experience. You know how some people, the textbooks say, you cannot build it and they will come. That's not how business work. You have to find that niche. You have to satisfy that need. I did all backwards. And so what I had to do was that I had to regroup, go back to the drawing board, learn about marketing, and then develop a system that made sense where I could start getting the bookings that I wanted. So the first thing I did, all right, guys, and this is the first step, and I want you to write down, you need to find your glass slipper client. What that means is you need to find your ideal client. And in this case, I'm going to tell you about my slipper client because I want you to apply the same thing to your business. So depending on what business you have. So if you guys can go in the chat room, tell me what type of business do you have? Or what are you trying to launch? Or what niche are you trying to go into? I'm going to type. Oh, vegan tours. I love that. Counseling and coaching, romance, travel. Awesome. Okay. Very cool. Unconventional relationship. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting, Angelique. I like that. I am an unconventional relationship coach. Unconventional as far as, is it gender? Is it situation? I'm curious. Okay. Christy, travel, honeymoons, river cruises, all inclusive. Okay. Awesome. All right. So let me tell you about what I had to discover about my ideal client in order for me to get those sales and those leads that I was showing you earlier. And these were my ideal clients. John and Lindsay, 31 and 29, are engaged to be married. Basically, New Jersey, New York, New York and Pennsylvania. So up north, US. He's a manager at a financial services corporation. She's a registered nurse. So they're young. They're climbing the corporate ladder. Basically, they were planning their honeymoon and the wedding and honeymoon, and the wedding had gotten away from them. Basically, they had these big rambunctious families, and the moms had taken over the planning. When they came to me, they felt like, okay, I give up. They got the wedding. They're doing whatever they want with it. But the honeymoon is ours. We are going to plan our honeymoon, and we're going to do exactly what we want to do. And so this is what, oh, Angelique, I'm very, very curious, girl. Oh my goodness. Okay. Awesome. I like that niche a lot. So, my glass slipper clients. So let me tell you a little bit more about them. And what I want you to learn is that your ideal client is just not a demographic, right? It's not just, well, they live in this particular zip code and they make this income and they drive this car, because the truth of the matter is that people make sacrifices for the things that are important to them. So I know, as well as I've had clients, travel agent clients, who had clients come to them that, if you look at them, live very average lifestyles. They probably live in a 2-room condo or flat, and they drive an 11-year-old car. But every year they do a big vacation. They spend $20,000, $25,000 on a huge vacation, not to mention that they probably do smaller trips through the year. This one big vacation, they like to take their kids and their grandkids with them. So every year, this is a big deal to them. So although they may not look like the typical client that spends that kind of money, it is very important to them. Therefore, you cannot go by demographics alone. Again, I think that people make sacrifices for the things that are important to them. Okay, so when you do this exercise for your glass slipper client, throw that away. I want you to learn the psychographics of them. What makes them go? What motivates them? Okay. So back to my clients. They were both well traveled. They done all the popular destinations, and they wanted some. Their friends recently got married because they were in that circle of friends where everybody was getting married. And so most of their friends honeymoon in Tahiti, Greece, and Italy. So very exotic things. And I mentioned this for a reason. What I found with my clients is that they did not want to do whatever their friends had done. I had a couple who wanted to go to Bora Bora, but because their friends had done it before them, they were like, "No, we're not doing it because they're going to call us copycat. So we're going to do something totally different." They did Croatia. So this is very important to this generation. And you need to know that. And so also during their time off, the little time off they have, because they're so focused on their careers, they love going out to eat. They like to hanging out at different spots with their friends. And then because again, they don't have a lot of time. Lindsay, for example, shops most of the time. She shops for her household and clothing items online, which is key. She's a fan of independent designers, and she knows which brands she likes. So whenever she needs something, she just goes online, shops, and that's it. She's done. The only thing she shopped for in person, it was for her wedding, has been her wedding gown. Everything else she bought online. The reason I mention this is because you need to find out where are they shopping, what brands do they want or do they prefer? How do they consume that? How do they find out about new products or new services? Is it through word of mouth? You know, if their friends are doing it, they do it. Or is it from a social media channel? Or is it from a particular website, a particular, you need to find out. Or is it they're just creatures of habit? Back to my client. So the reason why they wanted a travel expert is because they didn't want to stress about making the right decision. They had a lot of anxiety about spending this type of money, and they wanted to make sure that they were going to get the best location for the best budget. And it had to be a smart decision. They kind of saw this as a little bit of an investment. Like, if I'm going to spend this kind of money, I want to make sure that it's going to I'm having the most amazing honeymoon, and it's going to be in the perfect location, and we're going to have a great time. So she's afraid that if she does it herself, it's not going to be as good as it could be. Okay. So again, think about your business and think about what you offer. So if you are a coach, obviously they are struggling with something very specific. And a lot of people put these walls up when it comes to getting help. So what are they struggling with so bad that they feel like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I have to get help. I have to pick up the phone and I need to do this. There's something that keeps them up at night. Are they worried? Are they stressed? What is keeping them up at night? That's basically the question that I'm asking here. What is keeping them up at night that you can solve for them? And why do you do this exercise? Well, a few different reasons. First of all, you don't want to waste money on expensive branding that does not speak to your audience. I've seen this over and over before. For example, Kim, you do vegan tours. So your branding, it's probably going to be along the lines of every other vegan brand that your ideal clients consume. My background is also fashion design. So we had a saying that went, who are you hanging out with? Meaning, when your clothes hang on the rack at a store, what other brands are they hanging around it? Because they're complementary to your brand. Okay. So your brand needs to hang with the other brands that your ideal clients are consuming. Okay. You can't, everybody else, I'm thinking vegan, I'm thinking, your branding looks a certain way. And then you come with this totally off the wall branding that doesn't even fit and it doesn't appeal to your ideal client. So before you go and you spend a lot of money on your branding, do this exercise so that you know exactly what it needs to look like. You also will know which consumer shows to attend. If you're going to do consumer shows, then you want to make sure that you know where to invest your money. Are you going to go to a health and wellness consumer show? Because you probably do yoga retreats, or you have counseling services, or you have, again, vegan tours. Or are you going to a bridal show? Brides will be an ideal client. You do romance travel, but maybe even going further than romance travel, what niche is going to set you apart? There are tons of travel agents out there that do romance travel, but for example, I decided that I was going to do exotic locations because exotic equals money and profits. And although I love Mexico, love Mexico, for us in the US, it's not very profitable. It's our backyard. Anybody is so easy to get to that anybody can just jump on a plane, be there in 2 hours, and move about. For you guys in Australia, I'm sure Fiji is one of those locations where everybody goes to, that it's inexpensive and it's just your backyard. You can just hop on it, be there, spend a long weekend, go back. So exotic for me meant $10,000 budgets, meant $15,000 budgets for a honeymoon, and profit, obviously. So every time you find yourself in a situation that you're asking yourself, okay, I have this marketing event or opportunity, should I do it? Go back to your ideal client, and that ideal client will be able to tell you, should you do it or not. My Lindsay and John, my ideal clients, answer all of the questions that I had when it came to making decisions about my business. That Lindsay and John will be at a consumer show? No. They work too hard. They don't have a lot of time off. And she probably went, oh, Bali. Awesome. Okay. And so, oops, sorry. I got sidetracked. See? Okay. Not your fault, though. I love Bali. Of course, you can't say travel without me going just, would love to be there. Okay. So my Lindsay and John would definitely answer those questions. My Lindsay doesn't have a lot of time, so she probably went to one bridal show as soon as she got engaged, but then she realized, you know what, this is not my cup of tea, whatever. And then I'm not planning my wedding. My mama is, so I'll let her do all the planning. So in my case, it came to be that doing bridal shows just wasn't a good fit for my business. Word of mouth was for me. Word of mouth and doing other things that I'll share with you. Third, you won't waste time with unfit clients. Yeah, you're going to get those clients that are just not a good fit. And I know it sounds like a cop-out, but it's not. If you, especially when you're having a relationship, if you're an advisor of any kind, you need to be able to these clients. If you don't click with them, it's not going to work out. So let them go at the beginning and realize that, you know what, these are not my Lindsay and John. It's okay. I'll pass. It will help you position your niche. So whatever niche you have, you can refine it and you know where to position it when you know who your ideal client is. You know exactly what it is. So for me, it wasn't enough that it was romance travel, honeymoons. It was tropical destinations. Tropical exotic destinations. Tropical because I'm an island girl. I grew up in Puerto Rico. Europe, I love the world, obviously. I love traveling, but Europe is not my backyard. It's not my, it's not what excites me. What excites me are, the Balis of the world and the Tahitis and the Bora Boras and Fiji and that kind of thing. And so for me, it helped position my niche. And then lastly, it will help you address their pain points. How many times have you sat in front of the computer thinking, okay, what am I going to talk about as I promote my business without sounding sleazy, and greasy? Okay, what am I going to talk about? Okay, I have a new coaching program. Okay, whoop-de-doo. But no, I know what my clients' pain points are. I know they come to me because they were struggling with something. For example, Angelique, in your case, your relationship coach with a feminine approach, teach men who to feel more and express themselves more. I teach women how to keep their men at home. Exactly. So guess what? Their pain points. When you get your clients to come to you, their pain points are, oh my God, my marriage is in trouble. Oh, my relationship is in trouble. It's not what it used to be. It's not as passionate as it used to be. We don't talk anymore. Right. So they're probably young couples or people that are at a early, in their professional life, that they're trying to spend a lot of time at work, to develop and progress in their career, kind of like my Lindsay and John. And work and other things have taken time away from their relationship. And so, I like it. I like it. So, exactly. They want more. So Angelique says their pain point is that they want more kinky sex. Exactly. But let's keep drilling that down. They want more kinky sex because of what? Right? They want to feel more connected. They want to feel more loving. They want to explore. They're getting a little bored. So when you address all of those things that are like ground zero for their pain point, then you know exactly what to talk about the entire time that you're promoting your business. A travel agent, for example, if I see travel agents, they are with me, don't kill me. But if I see another picture of a beach on Instagram, I'm going to have to say something, because you're not solving my pain point. Everybody wants to travel. Right now, if you did a survey of 100 people and you asked them, if you win the lottery, what would you do with it, money? 98.9 people would say, I want to travel more. So travel is not something you sell. People want to do it regardless. This is something that almost everybody wants to do. And I say almost because I live in the great state of Mississippi, and I have learned and I have met people that don't care to travel, which is baffling to me. But anyway, so there's, 1.2 people out there that don't want to do it out of 100. So you're not selling the destination at all. Everybody wants to travel. What you're selling is, how do you make it happen? Well, listen, I'm going to help you decide which destination is best for you for the best value. And I am going to answer every single question you have, because you're going to have an amazing honeymoon and nothing is going to go wrong. And I'm not saying nothing is going to go wrong, but we're going to address all of your issues and all of your anxieties around this particular event. And I am going to give you as much information as you want in order to calm your fears and your anxiety. And we're going to have an amazing event. You're going to have an amazing trip. And oh, by the way, I know you are traveling to a destination that might be a monsoon season or tornadoes or hurricanes, whatever the case may be. But don't you worry, because I have your back. If anything happens, I am going to get you out of the country home safely, and we're going to take care of everything in the back end. That would allow me, even me in my position, if I had someone that tells me, you know what, go to the other side of the world, I got your back. All I had to do is where do I send you my money? So address their pain points, okay? Because what you're selling on the surface, they may not think they need. But when you start speaking to them and you address their pain points and you speak their language, they're going to buy every single time. So, how do you begin to turn your business around? You do the ideal client exercise. Okay. Who are they? What do they eat for breakfast? What do they eat for lunch? What do they do at night? How old are they? What keeps them up at night? What are their goals in life? How do they feel about this particular issue? Okay. What do they think they need? How do other people perceive them? What's important to them? What are their values? That can get you so far when you're doing a marketing plan. Then you can narrow down your niche. Okay, so further, I just don't do honeymoons. I do exotic destinations. So look at, if you're wanting to do something exotic, I'm the girl for you. If you want to do something closer to home or in the US, I can probably uh, refer you to someone else. And actually, this is a very important point. When you narrow down your niche, it gives you permission to turn down business that you don't want to do without being kind of rude or closing the doors to that customer. So, for example, I will have people say, "Oh, I want to go to Disney World." And I'm like, "Well, that's just not my thing. That is not my expertise. So you will be better served by a colleague of mine that I know that specializes in Disney. I will be glad to pass on your information and let them help you." But say, for example, they want to do, I don't know, the friends of mine, I know they're Disney fanatics. They just want to do a Disney cruise. They want to spend, they have a $15,000 budget. You know what? It might be worth my time to take them on and be like, you know what? I'll figure it out and I'll make sure that I give you a good experience. But narrowing down my niche gives you permission to not waste your money or time, waste your time on people that are not your ideal client. And then third, after you do this exercise, you will decide if you need a rebrand or not. Remember how we talked about Christy and vegans. Kim, vegan tours. So um, that will make you decide whether your rebrand needs to be in Okay, can you guys hear me? I'm so sorry, guys. So sorry. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I'm talking, and then the whole screen just closed on me. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you for sticking with me. Okay, so let me pick this up where we left. Rebrand. So if you need to rebrand by any reason, but after doing the exercise, you'll be able to know exactly what your brand needs to look like. Okay. All right. So where do they hang out? Oopsie. This is the second thing you need to find out. So number 2, where do they hang out? Based on the worksheet, you should know where your glass slipper client, that's GSC, hangs out at. For example, where are they online? Do they get their information from Facebook? Do they hang out in Instagram? Do they do a lot of Snapchat? What do they do online? Because what they do, what that helps you know is where do you need to be? Okay. Excuse me. How do they use Facebook? Do they use it to stay in touch with friends and family? Do they do it to scroll and kill time? Do they do it as community? Are they involved in any community groups on Facebook? Do they shop the ads on Facebook? Okay. Do they have an Instagram profile? Are they on Snapchat or Twitter? When you're researching your ideal client, can sometimes just Google their name, Google their email, sometimes even Google their phone number, and you'll see what profiles come up. Facebook is one that always comes up pretty high. But once you go through that rabbit hole, you can find anything you want, right? Like if you just keep clicking, Christy, by talking to them. So when you do a consultation with them, think of your ideal client of somebody that you had recently that is a client of yours that you wish you could clone. And a lot of times when it's a new business, it's yourself. Because more than likely when you went into business, it was because you had a need that you satisfied. And now you're trying to do it for other people. So sometimes when you're starting out, most of the time actually, you are your ideal client. Think about you. Think about your circle of friends. What are they doing? If your circle of friends are your ideal client, then you would kind of mirror that information. But a lot of times when you have a consultation with someone, you can ask them, hey, what are can I send you something through Facebook, or do you use Facebook Messenger? And they'll open up, and sometimes you can just go into Google and search their name and see what kind of activity they have. And that is that's if you have a past client that you can kind of Google and research. A lot of times we just mirror them. Other times, like I said, if you have someone in your circle that fits that profile that because, for example, you have a coaching business and you have someone in your circle that is going through something that you can help them with. Okay, so then that becomes part of your ideal client. Sometimes you kind of have to patch them up a little bit. And then lastly, most of the time it's you if you are a new business. It really is. Okay, so where do they hang out? They can hang out offline. So locally, if you have a networking group locally or a group of people you network with frequently, do they go to consumer or bridal shows? Maybe by speaking to the brides, what they're getting into because they'll kind of tell you. And if you start asking about their wedding, oh, honey, they'll tell you everything you ever need to know and more. Do they hang out with local businesses that you can partner up with? For romance travel agents, that will be other wedding providers, whether it's a local planner, a local photographer that you can partner up with to provide honeymoon services or destination wedding services. Direct mail. So I know right now that everybody's focused on online marketing. If I can't tell you how many times I've Googled, marketing strategies or marketing plans and nothing comes up. Everything I ever see is social media marketing. And I'm like, I get it. That's the thing right now. But there's a huge hole for offline marketing, and direct mail is one of those. I firmly believe in direct mail. Nothing like emailing a few people and then sending them a postcard or something about you, sending them a thank you note, sending them a birthday card. That means a lot to people because people don't do that anymore. People don't write with their own, uh, you know, penmanship. Everybody types everything, everybody emails. So this is something that I found brides really appreciated when I will do a direct mail campaign and I will send them a handwritten note. Um, so yes, it's very much a big opportunity there. It has to be like anything else. It has to be very well targeted though, and it has to have measurable um, things or goals. Meetups are awesome because you get to meet with people that are sharing the same interests as your ideal client, and you can become that hero for them. Now, how to find out, and this goes back to your question, Christy, how to find out if this information is accurate, how to find out if your ideal client is accurate. So poll your clients. Ask them, hey, I'm trying to develop some new services and I really want to know what you're struggling with. In fact, you should do this at least once a year, at least, where you poll your clients and ask them, what do you got going on in your life? What are you struggling with? You know, how did you find me? Things like that. Are you on Facebook? Do you want me to text you on Facebook? Do you want me to chat? How do you want to hear from me? Do you want to hear from me on Facebook or via email? Or do you want me to send you a postcard, or you don't want to hear from me at all? Something like that. And so you start doing the things that you find out. You start to spend time on the channels where your ideal client hangs out. And after 6 months, you're going to see the consistency. And either it works or it doesn't. Marketing is a lot of testing. It's kind of like dating, right? It's kind of like, getting to know him or her and exchanging information. And through time, you see, okay, well, this may work. Well, that doesn't work. And so it's almost like you're dating, you're courting your ideal clients. Some things work, some things don't. Some things turn them on, some things turn them off. So yeah, absolutely. And so also every time you do a review, research any new offline and online options. So every 3 months. Is this working? What's new? What new feature does Instagram have, or Snapchat, or is there a new something locally, maybe event that I can participate in? But do that every 3 months. Don't get consumed by that every day. More importantly, brainstorm and be accountable to others. So I love to have other like-minded individuals that I kind of bounce ideas around, and without them, I don't know what sane I would be. But get yourself an accountable partner. It doesn't have to be in your same industry. Somebody that's also a business owner and can understand your struggles for sure, and you can be accountable to in what you're trying to do. And at every opportunity, answer, what would my glass slipper client do? Oh, somebody approached me about placing an ad on this publication. Should I do it? Well, I see that people do that online a lot, or people crowd source their logos or their branding, where they ask everybody else, oh, how does my branding look like? Well, I don't matter. I may like it, but it doesn't matter to me because I'm not your ideal client. You need to be asking your ideal client. Send them emails, send them surveys. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? People love that. People love to talk. You just need to ask. Track it. So always ask them, how do they find you? If you have intake forms where people have to fill out before they can schedule a consultation with you, ask them, how did you find out about me? And people will tell you every time. And that way you can track where your leads are coming from. If you have a campaign, say you're on Instagram and you have something specifically that you're trying to promote, Make sure that you include um, those links for the campaign. If you do a direct mail, make sure they have a link that they can go back to on your website. And that way, okay, the people that are coming to this link found me because I sent them a direct mail piece. Make custom landing pages. If nothing else, put a landing page on Facebook where everybody that comes from Facebook goes to this one particular page on your website, and then you can track it that way. And then finally, you have ads. A lot of people do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, social media ads. So you have to measure that. Oh, no worries, Abigail. I'm sorry, I cannot say your name. In Spanish is Abigail. Welcome, bienvenida. Don't you worry. You can just catch up. You can also catch the replay for the first part. So ad cost versus ROI. Sorry. Always track that. You spent this much money and it brought me this many leads. Make sure that you know how much are these leads costing you. Okay. And then we go into online channels. So far we have developed an ideal client worksheet, right? We know where they hang out. Okay. We know and we found out how. We get that information by asking them. Okay. Now we want to know online channels. So online channels, we have various online channels. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, we have Twitter, we have Pinterest, and every other obscure network place you have online, right? So based on your research, pick out 2 to 3 online channels where you can reach your glass slipper client. I'm not saying don't have a presence in all of them. Just pick 2 that you're going to focus on. Website or blog. You must have a website or a blog. I mean, people want to find that you're real. And, of course, now people think that whatever's online is real, which we all know how that turned out for us in the US. But anyway, I won't get sidetracked. So, you must have somewhere where people can come and say, okay, yeah, I see what I like. I want to learn more about this person, and they look pretty legit. Okay. And then you have social media. So you have opportunities there. And this is a little bit dated, but I wanted you to get a little visual of social media, because everybody's always like, okay, oh, what am I going to say on Facebook? And what am I supposed to do with Instagram? And what am I going to post on Pinterest? Or what am I going to pin on Pinterest and LinkedIn? So I like this one because it's pretty simple. You got a picture of donuts in Facebook, and you will post on Facebook, I like donuts. On Twitter, you'll say, I'm eating a #donut. On Pinterest, here's a donut recipe. On Instagram, here's a photo of my donut. On LinkedIn, my skills include donut eating. Google Plus, well, Google Plus is dead, but basically, yeah, I think Google employees were the only ones using Google Plus. So yeah, here's a Google employee who eats donuts, basically. So again, if you think of it as dating and all these different channels, then you know exactly how to come dressed to the party, right? Because if you're dating and you go to the movies, you're not going to go and act and share or get dressed the same as if you were going to a club or if you were going to a ballet, So this is what this kind of, this is the analogy there. So Facebook, you have to have a presence on Facebook, even if your target client is not on Facebook. But right now we have so many. Facebook has evolved into now they want to be everywhere. They want to be everything for you. They want to be your community activist group. They want to be your ads. They want to be a place where you find your next job. They want to be a place where you find your next couch. They want to be everything. So most people have a presence on Facebook, and you just have to see how active they are on Facebook and what they like on Facebook. I am still a big fan of Facebook because of their ads. It's a great source of new leads. The ads are so good where you can demographically target your ideal clients. On Facebook, you can share longer posts. You can be more personal. You can be you. And of course, you always share your business with your family and friends to give them updates. Also, you create a community for your audience. And this is something that I recommend every business owner, even if you're a travel agent, have a community for your not only your clients, but your potential clients, your leads. And this is a place where you share a lot of information, maybe information that changes more frequently than it would give you time to share in a blog post, for example, or your weekly, bi-weekly newsletter, something like that. Of course, you have Twitter. You know what it is. 140 characters. Basically, use it to announce your blog links that you're wanting people to direct to. When I first started on Twitter years ago, it was more of a community, but I found lately that that sense of community has gone away. That people really don't have conversations on Twitter. Some do, and it's also actually it's really cool to go every time something big happens. You go to Twitter and people are like commenting on it, and you see all the hashtags, and people are just going. It's pretty cool that way. But when it comes to having meaningful one-on-one conversations, I find it to be just a little bit not there. Of course, Instagram. Instagram was meant to be shared. It was meant for you to share pictures of your life and you show how amazing your life is and all these wonderful places that you visit and, all these things. So it's become a monster though, right? Now people are actually, do you know that there are influencers out there going into debt, buying things to make them look a certain way on Instagram? They're spending money on so many clothes, on private jets. Actually, now there's a company that will let you rent a private jet for photo ops, where you just stand in front of the jet and you take pictures like you're going on a private jet and just for your Instagram, which is kind of crazy. So everybody paints this picture on Instagram. But on the other hand, what it does is it allows people to see you, because people do business with people they know, like, and trust, right? So they get to know you, they like you, they trust you, and so they buy from you. It allows you to give you a lot of exposure by just implementing your 30 hashtags. And this is something that I always recommend. If you are a business, there is no reason why you're not using 30 hashtags on your Instagram. You may want to make it look pretty. You may want to put it in a comment instead of the main post. It doesn't matter. You need to have it there because that's how people find you. The one thing about Instagram is that it has limited links, right? On your bio, you can only put one link. So there's a service called Linktree that allows you to have different areas or tabs where when somebody clicks on that bio or link on your bio, they can actually get different options. They can go to your blog, or they can go to your free magnet list, or they can go to whatever you are promoting. You need amazing pictures. Sorry. It is what it is. You need to have amazing pictures. That's what gets you notice, because pictures are your social proof. And you can still grow an audience on Instagram organically, but you have to post. You have to make it a priority to post. You or somebody you hire, I'm not saying you, but somebody has to be posting a lot, and it would definitely grow your audience. People in travel, this is perfect. Travel is something that is very visual. People don't want to see a brochure picture because you and I both know that's photoshopped. So I want to go and see it for myself, or I want you to show me what the real deal is. Snapchat, I'm not going to go too much into it because this is something that I still struggle with. Actually, I use Snapchat between myself and my sister and I, or my 4-year-old and my sister, which is kind of bizarre because she loves it and she messages her titi and they have amazing quote unquote conversations on Snapchat. The messages disappear after you send them, but you do have brand stories. But brand stories is something that both Instagram and Facebook now have, but Snapchat actually originated that feature. Okay. So once you figure out what online channels you're going to focus on, the next step is for you going to go into the offline channels. So first you go into online, pick 2, go into offline channels. So look at your past clients, Look at your referrals, word of mouth. What joint ventures do you want to do? And direct mail. So they say it takes, the old school of thought in marketing was that it takes a lead 12 times, a dozen times to see the same thing before they will notice. That's why you could be selling a widget and you tell them 10 times about this widget, but the widget closes, you're going to close your cart in at midnight on day number 11. Well, that's why on day number 11, people are emailing you like, oh my God, is it still too late for me to buy your widget? Well, it's because people, there's so much information that you just gloss over a lot of information and you don't really pay attention. And so they have to see it multiple times in order for them to get, to take action. So I like to say, I had a coach that one time told me, you market the hell out of them until they tell you no. That's when you stop marketing, when they tell you no. All right. So your past clients, give them some love because it is way less expensive to sell to a past client than it is to acquire a new client. So nurture them, keep in touch with them, ask them how they're doing. What can you do for them? Keep them involved in making decisions on your business. Hey, I'm trying to decide between these 3 products or services. What do you think? Nurture them. They will give you referrals. Now, your referrals, your past clients that have referred you, appreciate them, give them something, give them a special thanks. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'm not telling you how much to spend. You and only you know, what you can do for them, but acknowledge them. Word of mouth, of course, that's basically the same as referrals. Joint ventures. If there's another owner or business owner in town that can service your clients, go talk to them. Go ask them, how can you help them? Always come from a place of, how can I help you? Because trust me, most people never ask for help that way or never offer help anybody with their business. So offer them, hey, I know this is what you do. Let's talk about it. Let me take you out to coffee. Let's find out how I can help you. And maybe there's an opportunity for you guys to work together. Okay. So do it. Direct mail. Again, if somebody has to see something a dozen times to take notice, well, I would like to do a great marketing mix, right? I want to see some email. Maybe I'll send you some direct mail along the way. Maybe I'll do an ad. Maybe I'll do a local event. So all of those things are different touches. You need to touch them at least a dozen times. All right, finally, once you do that and you've chosen your offline channels and you've chosen your online channels, you need to put the pen to paper. Okay, get yourself a calendar. If you prefer it to be paper, that's fine. If you prefer it to be an app, that's okay too. I personally love a weekly calendar where I can write down what I'm going to be promoting that week. And every day I'm going to write the channel that I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to write down the post or what I'm mailing out or the event, whatever it is, and the channel. Okay. So if you take one day out of the week to plan this, you don't have to worry about marketing your business any other day because you've done it for the week. You've planned it. You have scheduled it. There are some apps out there where you can schedule posts for both, for various online channels. Okay. So do it. Sit down, write the calendar. I can make a marketing plan for you, but if you don't sit down and do the work, it's not going to happen. You have to execute. And marketing is not a sprint. It's a marathon. You have to be consistent. So marketing plus consistency equals sales. Okay. You have to be consistent. And a calendar is a perfect way. Now, what are your questions, guys? I gave you, to recap, we did the glass slipper client. Okay. We also did, we find out where do they hang out. We have offline channels, pick 1 or 2. Online channels, pick 1 or 2. Put it in a calendar. Make the time. Schedule it. Once a week, schedule all your posts. And then keep it going. Every 3 months, think back and track your statistics. Track how many followers you start with on each channel that you decide to focus on. Write down how many people are opening up your blog post. Write down just any tracking measure that you have, you want to write it down. Okay. So basically, I've given you the 5 steps. Now, like I told you, I have been creating marketing plans for other business owners. But the truth of the matter is that if you don't do the work, it doesn't happen. Here we go. So I want to share with you my new service. And basically, what I want to do is I'm going to share this link with you guys. And this is what I have. So I've taken everything that I've just presented to you guys, and I've created a course. Market, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. Okay, so market your thing. What I've developed is a 6-module course. And in that 6-module course, we're going to bring you through every one of those. Okay, every one of those aspects that I'm trying to share with you guys. So here it is. Here it is. Here it is. All right. So market your thing, the course. If you've ever been frustrated with your marketing and you don't know how to start a marketing plan, you need to sign up. This is a 6-week course. It starts March 6th and it's weekly. I'm going to jump on the call weekly. So it's going to be pretty much a live course. Okay. This is the curriculum. This is what I want to share with you guys. So we're going to start by auditing your marketing. We're going to do the numbers. We're going to narrow down your niche. We're going to create your marketing message. Then we're going to do your ideal client worksheet that we just did here. We're going to do the glass slipper client worksheet. We're going to find out where do they hang out, and we're going to create focus channels, and we're going to do this together. Okay. And then we're going to move into our marketing channels right here, online channels, offline. And then we're going to create your perfect marketing mix just for you. Okay, here we are. And then we're going to put it in a calendar. We're going to have calendars. We're going to put the timeline. If there is something that you want to promote for a holiday, a group tour, a cruise, a big event, maybe you're launching a new product, we're going to create a promotion timeline for that. Okay. Then we're going to talk about setting up your calendar or your planner, your marketing planner. And we're going to also create your content calendar for the year. So no more sitting there wondering, what am I going to write about? Okay. Then we're going to do the sales math. We have goals. We need to meet those goals. So you need to have a clear path on how you're going to reach your goals. And this exercise is going to do it. Then we got to track our efforts. Okay. As a bonus, I'm going to have all the tools and programs that I've used in my marketing. You're going to have the apps that I've used. You're going to have the different softwares that I've used to automate your marketing. And every single office call that we do is going to be right here in the bonus. Okay. And further, you will have complete access to this information forever. So you, even after we finish, after the 6 weeks, you have access to it. So you can go back and repurpose and redo it again or have any questions. And so here it is, guys. I think it's very affordable. Starting out, this is my freshman class, like I want to call it. So once we start on March the 6th, this is going to close. I'm going to reopen it until the summertime. Okay. And when I open up in the summertime, it's going to have a different price. So this is my freshman once out of the bat price. It's going to be, you can actually purchase the 6-week course, or you can do a VIP program where you purchase the course. So we'll be together for 6 weeks. On top of that, we'll do 3 months group coaching. Okay. Because I know that sometimes you need a little bit more accountability to implement what you just learned. Okay. So if you have been struggling with being accountable or being consistent and you need a little push, this is definitely the program for you. So guys, Check it out. I have the link up there. I'm going to replay for the webinar. So once we get you the replay for the webinar, I'm also going to have the link to the course. So if you have any questions, go ahead and type it in the chat. So guys, thank you so much for being with me. If you have any questions right now, we are going to be taking questions. So go right ahead, type it in the chat. Do you have any questions about what we just covered? I'm going to give you 2 second head start to go so that you can go ahead and start typing. But if you have any questions about what we just covered, it's a lot of information, but do the work, and I promise you this will work. I'm not going to tell you it's going to be overnight. If you are not willing to do the work, this is not going to work for you, okay? But you need to be organized. You need a game plan for your business that is going to get the sales that you need to be successful in your mind, okay? Any questions, guys? Okay, I see no questions, guys. So I am going to close out the webinar. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please check out the link so you can find out more about the course. I appreciate you spending some time with me. Once I close the webinar, I will still be in the chat room. So if you guys still want questions, you can do that. You can always email me, and I'm going to put my email up here. Or you can message me on Facebook. Market Your Thing. It's Brenda at marketyourthing.com. Too easy. Market Your Thing. Brenda at Market Your Thing. Thank you guys so much for spending this hour, 15 minutes with us. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I wish you an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you.